Jadi sebenarnya macam mana kita nak pastikan kita tak buat silap bila kita beli rumah? Dan sebenarnya kita perlu ke dapatkan lawyer bila kita nak buat jual beli rumah? Itu adalah masalah utama dan itulah antara masalah yang kita akan bincangkan pada hari ini.
Property Insight Show.
Jadi hi, Assalamualaikum. Welcome to all my viewers. Today in the Property Insight Show with me, Eliza Isham, we will cover and discuss many things about investment and real estate. And of course, I'm not alone. Together with me is Datuk KK Chua, who had more than 20 years of experience in property. So Datuk, how are you feeling today? We are having a lawyer.
Wow, it must be heavy. But I'm sure all of us as a property purchaser, we will been through this stage. And this stage, if we can get it correctly, semua akan jadi lancar lah. Because knowing what to buy is a wisdom. But collecting you punya team which is like Avengers lah kan. We need as a good property purchaser atau property investors, you need to be good friends with these Avengers lah. Avengers punya partner
Betul.
You know, one of it of course will be lawyer
lah. Of course. And also kita juga selalu terlepas pandang as a buyer, kita tak tahu apa masalah kalau kita beli satu tanah tu tanpa lawyer. Mungkin ada masalah yang akan datang. Jadi pada hari ini, will be joining us today is a lawyer with a 27 years of experience with Malaysian. Okay, with Malaysian maksudnya Malaysia ni yang banyak masalah-masalah tanah. And together with us today is Miss Wong, the founder of Wong Associates. It's a law firm and all its law has satisfied all the academic, practical and formal requirement under the Legal Profession Act 1976. So let's dig in. Hello Miss Wong, how are you?
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you around actually.
Oh, thank you.
I know lah, because as a lawyer ni, okay,
kenapa
kita
Datuk?
kena help Miss Wong to have disclaimer tau tak? Kan, okay, whatever she said is solely dia punya opinion saja.
Betul.
Okay, there's no solicitation whatsoever kan.
Maybe good opinions, but still disclaimer is needed.
Yes,
But 27 years as a conveyancing lawyer, right?
I started out as a litigator.
Oh, okay.
But very soon I moved on to conveyancing practice, which I found to be what I have a very high passion for. So that is what I've been doing for the last, I would say, 20 years or so.
Oh wow.
And met many people, all walks of life, first-time buyers, seasoned buyers, friends and family, couples, family starting off in life. You name it.
All walks of life lah.
Yes.
Okay, I just nak tanya quick question sebelum kita start kan. Nak tanya, yang mana satu walk of life selalu banyak masalah? The first buyer ke? The couple ke kan?
I would say, in my opinion, I have to say it's my opinion because some may not agree with me.
Okay.
Because some couples are very loving.
Okay.
Which we hope that couples are loving. Yes, last forever. But in reality, that is something that most people do not want to dig in because we always like to see the positive side. Who doesn't,
True.
right?
Yeah, true.
But the reality of life is we come together with good intentions, right? But relationships are very challenging at times. So sometimes it breaks down. And that causes a lot of issues related to their assets that they have purchased together.
True.
Yes.
But for me, of course, Because last time I was a property agent,
Right.
and as property agent, we used to have this love-hate relationship with the lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Love-hate because sometimes we want to make sure the deal
Yes.
go through, then we can take our commission. Correct or not?
Okay.
And sometimes, a lawyer, convincing lawyer can either make a deal or they can break a deal. And normally what will happen is, to and fro, and sometimes ego gets into place. Then, okay lah, you change this, I change the whole thing. I want to maintain this clause, I don't want to give in, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes, like, a simple, step back, the whole deal go through. Because of the want to stand on the ground that is on the what if, that the chances of happening is very minute, very possibility very low. Because of that, from my experience also, I lose couple of deals.
Understand. I can definitely relate to what Dato' Chua has mentioned.
Okay.
Because like I said, with the vast number of years that I've dealt with different people and different
people, yeah.
situations, in fact, I have, when dealing with situations where it involves real estate agents, which most of the time this is the case, I always understand that real estate agents are out there to cari makan also.
Yeah.
I
true
mean,
also.
everyone is there to try to hustle and make a living,
Yeah.
right? And we do understand how these real estate agents feel when lawyers seem to make it difficult. If you allow me to explain why I explain or rather use the word seem.
Yes,
Because
please.
sometimes it's also quite difficult for lawyers who are under a legal duty that we must discharge our duties to the best of our abilities to protect the client when we do see certain things that are really not written correctly, and it may backfire on some purchases. And sometimes we really are put in the middle to, if we really want to help, like some of the real estate agents, we know them very well. They have become friends of ours, and we know that it's just a cari makan,
Yeah.
right? And we want them to have this good living, their families, they
Yeah.
want to also, put food on the table. We understand that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, in making money, you don't want to hurt another person. That's my motto.
Yeah,
Right? So you don't want to just let things pass and then you end up hurting the, let's say,
other.
buyers who may be just really first time
Yeah,
buyer,
buying.
especially.
Yeah, true.
And if they have a bad experience the first time round, I have seen it with my own eyes. They totally become so scared from this traumatic experience that they don't even want to buy anymore.
Oh my God.
And that would be the worst thing that could happen. Because property assets is part and parcel of, in my opinion, investment for us, our society. We have different investment arms, and property is one of them. So it should not deter people for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, true also. Because every single, senang cerita, semua orang rakyat Malaysia memang nak beli property. Tapi bila salah beli pada property yang pertama, dia akan terus jadi out dan mungkin akan menyusahkan hidup mereka juga. Kita tak tahu.
Sudah trauma already.
Sudah trauma
Yeah.
dah, tak nak dah. Tak percaya siapa lagi.
So how can we prepare ourselves
Yes.
to avoid these pitfalls when engaged with a lawyer lah?
Again, what I may say, hopefully it's not too sensitive. I would want to say that there are lawyers out there who are still very passionate to explain the process, the terms, and what are the pros and cons, so that the purchasers out there and even the real estate agents, they understand why maybe some lawyers say, hey, jangan jalan dulu until we explain properly this part. So the explanation and the advice actually resolves a lot of miscommunications, out there. So actually it's a win-win situation. But unfortunately, some people are quite jaded already.
Okay.
they may not want to explain too much.
I see.
So when they don't explain too much,
That's how it happens.
it leaves people with a lot more questions than answers
Betul.
and guessing game.
Jumping
Betul
to
tak?
conclusion.
Yes.
This okay like this lah, like this lah.
Then balik just discuss dengan family. I think ini boleh jalan.
Lepas tu
Then just jalan,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
which is it's just taking a leap of faith.
Yeah,
which
leap of faith.
which you should not if you have access to good lawyers, you know.
Betul. Okay, so what are the common or basic mistake that usually Malaysian would do before bought a property or a house?
Okay. There are a lot of things that I wouldn't say mistakes, more like what to look out for.
Okay.
Tips to look out for. Firstly, a lot of people when they want to buy a property, especially a home for the first time, young couple especially starting out in life, they're all very excited.
Yes.
And
True,
they should
true.
be.
That's true.
Should be. You know, it's a very exciting time in their life.
New milestone.
I mean, I was young once. Sekarang sudah tua lah.
Excited kan, nak duduk sekali, nak beli rumah
Sekarang sudah
sekali.
tua, tapi once young,
Ya
I
ke?
also was very excited, you know, about my
Okay.
first home. So when you're excited over your first home,
Okay.
you will just be thinking about viewing the house that you want to buy.
True.
You know, when you go in, especially when the house is all fitted and you know, the
Fully furnished,
model house,
Cantik.
sometimes it gives the impression that wow, I can live here, I can have my family here, but without really thinking about the tips that I'm going to say, you know, what they should also think about.
Okay.
Not to take away the excitement,
Okay.
but
Put into consideration lah.
Number one, money.
Okay. How is that?
Who wants to really talk about this factor, but it's a
Yeah,
real factor.
true also.
When we want to buy something, we really have to have the money. Meaning you have to get ready the 10% deposit.
Okay, 10% guys.
Yes. So what from my experience I see is a lot of buyers, especially first time home buyers, they do understand the concept of having that 10% deposit.
Okay.
Because you know, nowadays with social media, with friends and families more open to
Yeah,
talk about
betul.
things, they know. But what they don't realize is maybe what is more than the 10% that they need to get ready.
Yeah.
So things like if they have to check their loan eligibility.
Okay, loan eligibility.
So if their loan eligibility, they can get 90% loan, which makes up the 100%, then they are okay just to get ready the 10% for the deposit part.
Okay.
But if they cannot get the 90% loan, then, for example, they get 80% loan.
Okay.
Then they have to come up with another 10%.
10%.
So some excited buyers, especially first time,
Yeah.
they may just think of that 10%, and suddenly if they are not properly advised, when they go and sign this, about to sign the sale and purchase agreement, you know, masa untuk sign surat perjanjian jual beli, sudah get ready, check 10%, then a lawyer say, you know, your loan is only less than 90, so nanti you kena bayar another how much? They're all too shocked. So they're caught off guard. But if at that point they only find out, it's dangerous, because coming back to the real estate, there is normally a binding contract.
Oh, okay.
Where you sign off when you book the property, you pay an earnest deposit. So if you suddenly say, oh no, I don't have the extra cash,
Okay.
can I just say I decide not to buy? But there are already legal implications already in place.
I see.
So your monies that you book and pay down for the booking will be forfeited by the seller.
Oh.
So
don't want that to happen.
that's already, before you even begin to sign on the dotted line, sudah trauma already.
Sudah trauma. Hilang rumah tak dapat kan?
Itulah. That's why
Yeah.
we have to, even from the onset, there are things, all these real things, sometimes it's very exciting to embark on a new journey, but we sometimes have to stay true to the situation, and better to know than not know.
Yeah.
Right?
For me, I have. I want to
yeah,
add
that's
on
okay.
will be, you know, sometimes it's not just only the 10%,
Okay.
you know, down payment that you have to
Right.
pay upon signing the SMP. You also need to allocate probably to be safe is about 3 to 5% of the amount of the property. For example, for legal fees,
Yes.
for your stamp duty, transfer of MOT and
Yes.
whatnot, and the other thing is you also have to have saving for installment for at least 6 to 12 months ahead in case anything were to happen, because sometimes the property that you buy, when it comes to handover, you cannot just pack all your luggage and move in the next night. So you might have to do up certain things, and when you do up certain things, you will find that piping is not working well. Your electrical cable have some malfunctionality that you need to fix it, and all this will be some things that will you have to put in account lah.
I see.
That's why we want to bring back to sub-sale, which is completed property and under construction. But of course, under construction, everything is you can't have a say also lah. The HDA,
Yes.
SPA,
It's
sales
under
and
the
purchase.
Housing Development Act.
Yeah.
So basically, the sale and purchase agreement is under the act. It actually it's quite good enough to protect the purchasers. I'll just touch a little bit since Datuk Chua mentioned the Housing Development Act. So properties that are not under the Housing Development Act, which to a lot of the public out there, what I gather from my experience is that there is a huge misconception out there. They always think that they purchase from the developer, it's like a standard contract. Actually, it's not necessarily so.
Oh, really?
Yes, only if it's under Housing Development Act, the HDA, yes, you can safely say, that's quite standard. Again, as a practicing lawyer, I do not really like to use the word standard more often than not, because there are terms that we need to look at, but it is okay. But if it's not under the Housing Development Act, actually there are a lot of clauses inside there, the terms and conditions that a developer may write in, and you as a public think that it's standard, and you just consider blindly, and you already agreed to whatever that's in there, and more often than not, there's a lot of penalty clauses inside there. So a lot of the public are unaware of this, which I have through my years just trying to do my part to impart this kind of knowledge to whoever comes through my door. I'm just a small practitioner. I can only do as much as I can, but I try to do it honestly, that kind of thing. So this is one part where Datuk Chua has touched, which is important. But coming back to the cost factor, if I may just continue a little bit.
Sure.
So just like Datuk Chua mentioned, other than all this repair costs and all this, stamp duty is government stamp duty is one of the bigger costs that a lot of people are still unaware. So again, because they're very excited, they only think of the 10% deposit. Government stamp duty is quite a hefty amount, quite mahal juga, depending on the price of the property.
I see.
So dia punya rate is ascending punya, bukan descending. So
dia makin naik,
makin naik punya.
naik.
Lawyer fee makin turun punya. That's why lawyers, a lot of people have this, image that lawyers make a lot of money. We do make a good living if we are good at what we do, but it's not what people think, because we are also just trying to make a living. But just beware of the government charges, the stamp duty, because there's government stamp duty not only on the purchase but also on the loan. But the purchase is the one that is the bulk of it. The loan is a flat rate. Flat rate.
But the other thing from my experience, Miss Song, I want to add is, I bought this shop before many years back. So what happened was, for example, the SPA price is 1 million.
Right.
So when it comes to paying for the stamp duty, I actually have to pay more than 1 million, because the valuation from the government side is actually higher than what I purchased for.
Oh, wow. That's like double.
That is a very good point brought up by Datuk Chua on the stamp duty issue. Firstly, you have a situation where you're happy because you managed to get a property that is of very good value, meaning under the market value.
Okay.
But it does not mean that your government stamp duty, you are going to pay exactly what your purchase price that you are actually buying the property for. So the stamp duty office has the right to value the actual market value of the property and impose a stamp duty based on that market value, which could be higher than what you purchased the property for.
It's either same value or higher.
So of
They will not
course,
go lower.
this is like tak tahu nak doa untuk get a good property with low value ke?
tahu nak
I mean,
pergi macam
as a purchaser, I think people would like to buy a property which they find a good value.
Yeah, betul,
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Chua, right? But then, of course, they must have a bit of buffer to get ready in case
Correct.
the government do charge the extra stamp duty.
see.
And also, maybe just a little point on like people who buy properties from their maybe friends or family members. Sometimes they get a cheaper price
Okay.
because they know each other. So they think, oh, I've got a good price again.
Okay.
Same thing.
But then same thing.
Same thing. Especially also, I have cases where it's like family members. You know, sometimes family members, it doesn't mean that someone's going to give you a free
For
house.
free.
Yes, you still
course.
need to purchase, but maybe at a
Betul.
good price. So, but you still need to be aware of what value the market value is to get ready for the government stamp duty. And also all these renovation costs, don't underestimate all this.
I see.
Because if you're buying a sub-sale house, again, like first time buyers, and also a point that buyers should always check the condition of the house, because it's easier said than done, because when you view a house, takkan you, let's say there's an almari there, you won't know to push the almari and check behind the wall, you know what I'm saying?
Betul.
And you
Ada
won't know whether
lubang
there's
ke,
a
there's
crack
a
there,
hole,
lubang
yeah.
there. I mean, you can only do as much as your eyes boleh tengok lah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
betul.
You can't be switching on every single unit of aircon inside to see whether it's working and all that. So, what I always advise people is that if you are buying a sub-sale property where the owner is kind enough to throw in all the fixtures and fittings,
Okay.
Yeah.
either you check, if you can't check or didn't check, don't expect every single item to be in great working condition unless you specify before.
Alright.
So coming back to your
Question?
topic here, if you need very specific, you need to get a good lawyer.
Good
You need
lawyer.
to specify all this before.
Yeah.
If not, you have to accept what you did not specify and expect.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is one of the things that we need to know.
I think what we should do is, if you are buying with fixtures and fittings or a fully furnished house, what you should do first thing, you have to itemize it in the
Yes.
appendix as clear as you can.
Okay.
Yes.
Second is remember to take photo, because
Oh.
sometimes you'll be surprised. This is a 60-inch TV. When you hand over to you, it's 32-inch.
Yep.
You know,
That
this
is
way.
very true.
That's happened.
Ah,
That's happened
and
common.
maybe
commonly.
Sony brand and change to
Whatsoever lah.
ABC
Other
brand,
brand.
we wouldn't know. Yeah.
I've had very, very strange and experiences throughout my practicing life. If you don't list out this, what we call appendix or list of
Okay.
fixture and fittings that's attached with the sale, I've had people who insist that they've seen the property with the seller's, I think their children's art and craft. And they said, no, I saw it there, that's mine.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's so traumatic for the seller. They say,
yeah.
this is my child who made this art and craft from in school. How can you insist that you just saw it and it's there, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we come back to the legal aspect. If it's not listed, you are not entitled to claim for it.
Yeah.
But there can be avoidance of all these funny, strange requests and, awkward moments between the completion of the sale, you know?
see.
Even plants.
plant. Oh, it happened also in Malaysia.
Someone's bonsai plant also. They want some purchaser will say, you cannot take away your bonsai plant. I want that bonsai plant.
Yeah, but bonsai can go up to 100.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
bonsai.
That's why we
Yeah,
have to be careful.
betul.
If we have to list out and all that, you know. So it can be from the extreme end of just a simple art and craft to a plant, but it could be a bonsai plant. It could be just your baby that you grew the chili plant from small. You know, so who knows? You know what people may request.
Okay, I just wanted to ask Datuk K.K. Chua, like in your 20 years of experience in property line, which is more famous in Malaysia? Is it sub-sale or is it a new development housing?
Okay. I mean, from the data from LPPEH, of course, sub-sales transactions surpass the undercon transactions. But of course, among I think the your generation, then you know, the Gen Z and the Alphas, I think they prefer to go on undercon because without frills, they don't have to pay for SMB, stamp duty and whatnot. So the most important thing is you have to know a way to find a good deal rather than go with no frill kind of packages. And at the end of the day, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So if you can, you know, justify the right value for your property purchase, I think on the long run, you can make money. So for me here it's not so much on sub-sale or undercon. Most important thing is you need to know, like just now what Ms. Wong said, what you want. What you want means it's not what you know, wish and want is different thing. I wish to drive a Ferrari. Okay, but whether or not the affordability factors come into place, then it's something that we have to really
True.
you know, think deep on that. So for me is just go with what you can afford, and ego have to put aside.
On that note, like don't be afraid. I mean, for especially first time buyers.
I'm afraid right now because the stamp duty goes up.
I know. Cost is one thing, but you know, a lot of your like what Datuk Chua said, Gen Z ke
yang
baru-baru, yang
muda-muda.
Because there's a lot of social media out there. So when you look at social media, you look at everybody, oh, how I wish I live in this beautiful mansion. And then you don't take the first step to buy your first home because you said, I haven't saved enough money to buy that beautiful mansion. You don't have to buy a beautiful mansion for your first home. Just buy a home, build from there. That's my motto. You do not have to wait until you find the ideal dream house to buy. You know, just be careful when you buy, but just take the step, take the leap. You know, because if you don't, you'll be always living your dream in your head.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So just take the step, but with the right steps. You know what I'm saying?
And
but,
especially, sorry.
No, it's okay, Datuk.
Especially for these first-time home buyers. So for us, our advice here is, it's very fancy. You look at all these, you know, sports person, celebrities staying in the mansion and whatnot. I tell you one thing. Most of my friends that stays in mansion, okay, and when after they stay in mansion, they complain to me. They say, bro, you have no idea the monthly maintenance I have to pay.
Swimming
pool, gardener, lift, and maintenance. You know, maid. If you are staying at a mansion, you can't be expecting to have one maid.
The elevator service.
Yeah,
whatnot.
so all this comes into place, and one most you know, things that I can relate with is the bigger your house is, actually the relationship with your kids is actually getting further away. Just imagine you are living in a 20,000 built up bungalow. So the only way to reach your son will be calling him.
I was gonna say, I hope Datuk doesn't talk to his children via intercom.
Intercom, like calling them.
So sometimes it's especially for first time home buyers out there. You know, it's okay to stay in a, you know, apartment. My first property, I had was a 800 square feet, 3 rooms apartment. Nothing fancy. It's an apartment with lift. So I still have it. So for me is what we want to encourage all the youngsters out there here is it's okay to start small, and it's okay to live within your means. Your first car doesn't need to be Honda one, doesn't need to be Honda Civic. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's because of all the social media.
Yeah,
Sometimes
true
it puts a lot of pressure, unnecessary pressure on people to be something that they are not yet ready for. So just do your own pace.
Your own thing,
Yes.
yeah.
And I was gonna say, Dato', I beat you for your first home. Mine is only 700 over square feet, 1 room apartment. But it made me money.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that's why I say you have to invest smart. Even though it's a small apartment, you can grow from there.
True.
You use that as a platform for you to move on to hopefully one day your bungalow mansion. But not everyone wants to, like I said, kudos to those who are able to do it, because it's really a feat on its own.
Yeah.
Because you really do have to have a lot of money to maintain such a big
to
house,
maintain.
and if not, you'll really be bleeding money. And
that's hard.
it's just the ideal, and you may be a slave to the house
Oh, okay.
Yep.
because
You know
please,
why
Why
she
was
said
it?
slave to the
Yeah,
house?
I don't understand that.
The bigger your house, the lesser of a time you will spend there. You know why? Because you kena keluar cari banyak duit.
Nak kena
That's
bayar
true.
semua dan sebagainya.
Yes, that's true. That's
okay.
true.
How can you
Alright.
expect to stay in the mansion, go back, work at 5 o'clock sharp?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So, because I think that is the thing that most of the time youngsters nowadays do, because we want a big mansion house, want to show it on social media, whatnot, and then that is actually bleeding us a lot.
Yes, yes.
Sewa sajalah.
Sewa sajalah. Okay, cakap pasal sewa ataupun beli, ada dekat luar sana ramai penonton youngsters macam saya lah, mungkin late 20s ke dan sebagainya, selalu bertanya.
Oh, you are late 20s
Adakah
already.
no, I'm 18. Alamak. I think the youngsters.
Oh, okay.
So usually kita nak beli rumah dalam 20 late 20s lah kan. But we always feel that is it okay to buy or is it better to rent? So hari ni ada 2 orang yang sangat pakar dalam bidang ni. Jadi kita nak tanya juga, apa agaknya which one is much more better? Is better to rent or to buy a property straight, or it's like just hold on first to whatever you're doing, or the car go first and then your house go second? So what is your both opinion? I need to hear this.
But for me lah, maybe I start first lah. For
Okay.
me lah, for example,
I'm 18 guys.
okay, girls macam umur dia at her age, I think you should at least own 1 property. You know why? Every girl
okay.
should own at least 1 property. Because sometimes kalau
Dato'
you
nak jual
Apa dia
rumah
nak
ke
cakap
guys? Dato' nak jual rumah ke guys?
because sometimes kalau you all quarrel dengan husband or anything, at least you have
Okay.
somewhere to fall back to mah, betul tak?
Okay, faham.
A shelter for you in case anything didn't work out the way you want it to be,
I
kan?
see.
Mungkin Dato' pun Gen Z
juga,
lah.
That's
why
how's your
dia tahu.
opinion?
I do agree what Dato' just mentioned.
Okay.
Because it's very true in reality.
Okay.
Because of your confidence, you want to make your opinion count. But if you, not to encourage arguments, but if your opinions are not heard and you don't have anywhere to go, then your opinions may be softer, right? So that is true. But of course, coming back to my view is always don't burden yourself unnecessarily. If you can afford, buy the bigger square footage. If you tak boleh afford, just buy a smaller one, but take the leap of faith with the right steps, like I always
With the right
mention.
steps.
Yes, I always qualify with
that
the
will
right
be the
steps.
point.
Don't go in blindly, but take the right steps, because it's part of a journey of a young person.
Yeah.
Right. If
Betul.
you don't take that journey in your life, yes, you can still go through life
Yeah.
Sewa sini, sewa
Sewa
sana.
ke sana ke sini,
But after a
berjalan.
while, when everybody will reach a certain age also. Let's say from 20s, you another 10 years, you 30s,
Yeah.
you will look back and say, hey, where did all my money go?
Yeah, true.
Because money is senang saja keluar.
Betul, dia masuk susah, dia senang nak keluar.
Yes, so senang keluar. So if you don't put it somewhere that is, well, I would want to say safer, with the right steps.
With the right step,
right decisions. Right step. So it is somewhat safer. So rather than when a young person you work hard, you get amount of money, and you have no commitments, good commitments, you will just spend it all.
Betul.
And you will look back after 10 years and say, ngapa tak ada wang?
Mana duit
Yes. So that can be quite daunting because 30-an, you're going to the next decade of 40-an.
Oh, shoot.
Then you'll be under pressure. Macam mana nak buat balik itu wang?
Betul.
Isn't it? So that is the question. So, people always say young person has time on their side. So when you're young, you make the right decisions, your future is very solid.
Yeah.
So you have time.
Yeah, like for you, like for example, these young people, they like to, girlfriend, boyfriend, join name, buy one property, maybe due to the fact that
They are in
dia punya
love.
secrets tak cukup, wanna apply for a loan that they can get through. So join name. I have 2 friends that came to me, says, hey, you have to help me sell this house. I say, what happened? I broke up with my boyfriend.
Ayuh.
Then then when this happened, they want to sell fast. They cannot sell at the price, the current market price. They have to sell slightly lower. Than the
So
market
dah
price.
rugi lah kat situ.
So memang if you want to sell fast, of course you have to sacrifice. It's like a
see.
for sale kind of
Yes.
price. So maybe in this juncture, what would be the advice that you have?
Yeah.
Or-
I would like to also now bring another point.
Yeah.
The point about like again a real point for especially young couples
Young
getting
couples.
together. Like we say, we really take the leap of faith. Everything's well
It's
and
gonna be
good.
okay, it's
But
gonna
the
be okay,
reality
it's
is
gonna
that
be
who
okay.
knows, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you open a bank account, a joint bank account. You go to the bank. You said, "Oh, I want to open a bank account with my husband or my boyfriend," and there's either to sign to withdraw the money.
yeah.
Property, it's not like a joint bank account.
Oh.
If you purchase a property jointly, as
Okay.
opposed to your own name,
Okay.
kalau break up ke,
Putus
cerai ke,
tak nak tahu.
it does not work as in like, one person can just take out
Take.
take
Oh,
back the share.
okay.
It's like registered the land office who is the owner of that property. If it's jointly registered, means each one ada hak untuk 50%.
Oh, 50-50.
Yes,
50% doesn't mean you cut the house.
Yes, you cannot cut the house, right? So if there's a divorce, of course this is a topic for another day, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
because
It's just
divorce is
briefly
another
like
thing.
that,
Yes.
yeah.
So matrimonial home needs to be dealt with during a divorce.
Okay.
So again, let's say example, Datuk Chua's scenario, like boyfriend girlfriend lah, bukan even cerai lah.
Yeah, yeah.
So divorce is another matter.
Yeah.
Boyfriend girlfriend join name, beli satu rumah, intend to maybe get married or whatever reasons,
In
right?
5 years, 3 years, something like that.
Then suddenly, for whatever reason, break up. But maybe one person, maybe okay, the girlfriend
The
lah, I
girlfriend,
say,
okay
yang
lah.
bayar,
bulan-bulan kan,
bayar
kita
lebih
bayar.
lah.
Okay.
The girlfriend say, I paid more for the down payment. Then the boyfriend said, because I will do the renovation next day. Macam tu.
yeah,
But belum
betul.
mah, belum jadi.
betul.
So then if they break up, the girlfriend will say, alamak, I sudah bayar banyak, but you get 50%. So dia akan, it is a true story I've handled before, where they will come and say, I want back the full share. I paid for the full share. But tak boleh, because it's
it's
already
not-
under registration. So they have to go negotiate with the ex-boyfriend or girlfriend for that matter. And when you're already an ex, susah lah.
Betul.
If
Sometimes
Cakap
don't
salah,
even
cakap salah, cakap
if
salah.
he's still not married, susah. If dia sudah married, lagi susah.
Ya ke? Oh yelah, sudah ada
Yeah.
orang baru nak
Yeah.
face the tu semua.
Of course, again, just to touch a bit, joint name for us lawyers. That's why sometimes sometimes we like to explain things in a simplistic manner bagi audience and public understand.
Yeah.
But there is a very serious side to the legal consequences, which I always emphasize. Because kalau let's say somebody pass away,
Okay. Yeah, I was about
yes,
to go there.
that
So how was
itself
it?
also another aspect of the law.
Oh, okay.
Macam mana, let's say for non-Muslims, right? Then it will be whether ada will ke, tak ada will ke, surat wasiat ada ke, tak ada, proses kat mahkamah lain. Then siapa boleh come and try to argue that I pun ada share, you know. So there are a lot of aspects. And what if there's young children involved? You know, so below the age of majority, which is 18 years old. So banyak aspect. So we won't go into it today, but just to give your
Briefly
audience
like that, macam
to open up their minds and say that yes, we like things to be light-hearted, but there is a serious side to things to take care of, you know.
Yeah.
So joint ownership, single ownership, have to be careful. But you cannot be 100% sure. You have to also trust the person who you are joining with, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is the most important, because whatever it is after a breakup whatsoever, if you are good together and then there's something happen, it will be breakup and then it's going to be a messy things.
Yes.
I think we have to ask Miss Wong this question.
Okay.
For the benefits of our viewers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Leasehold SPA, sales and purchase agreement,
Uh-huh.
and freehold sales and purchase
Okay.
agreement.
Yes.
What are the things that they should anticipate
Yeah.
if they urgently need the fund for the sales? How long of a time horizon they should allocate if it's a freehold and a leasehold?
Yeah.
Okay, their properties are normally like what Datuk Chua mentioned, is about whether they are held under freehold title or under leasehold title.
Yeah.
So what is the big difference? Again, I wouldn't say it's 100% because there are freehold titles.
Oh,
They are
okay.
not really free. Very rare, but
in
still
the
there is.
yeah.
What I mean by that is that they still require some land office consent
Yeah.
for the sale to go through.
Okay.
But generally speaking, freehold there is no consent required.
So about 3 months, is it?
Similar to leasehold, leasehold is terbalik pula.
Okay.
Leasehold requires land office consent, but
okay.
again, there are very rare cases where the title tak ada requirement of a land office consent, even though it's a leasehold. So we are just talking about in general.
Yeah, betul.
Freehold generally tak payah lah. So when you tak payah means less of a process. So less of a process. Those days it was quite long to dapat the kebenaran from the land office. It was like couple of months.
Couple of
Yes,
months.
so it would delay the whole transaction by a
juga.
couple of months. But now, I think since generally after COVID,
yeah.
after COVID, there's a government initiative. Semua nak jadi online submission and all
Yeah,
that.
true.
So I think the efficiency has improved greatly.
Very great.
Yeah, greatly. So it's become a bit faster already. I dare not say it's consistently faster yet because it's rather new. So they are working towards being more efficient on this part to shorten the difficult waiting period of people who. So how it affects buyers is that sometimes you buy a house especially maybe first time owners. Maybe you sedang sewa somewhere.
Sewa rumah orang.
The landlord sudah cakap, okay, you nak beli rumah, you kena keluar already ke apa, something like that.
Tenancy dah
Tenancy
Dah
sudah
habis,
expire.
expire.
So they need to move into the new house
Okay.
urgently. So if they go into a transaction where it's like maybe a leasehold scenario, they must understand from their lawyers that the estimate time frame of how long they need to wait. So
So right now
generally,
leasehold will be after the consent. How many days?
After the consent, again the consent we won't know, right? But last time was few months, right? After you kena wait that, let's say between few months, then you still have the 3 months to complete the transaction. So it's like 6 bulan plus another give and take. If dia tak boleh bayar habis, got another additional 1 month. So it's like 7 bulan. But that is just an estimation. It could be a bit faster because of the online submissions nowadays. But those days it could be even longer. But freehold, dia tak ada consent, generally speaking, so become about 3-4 bulan.
3-4 bulan.
Yes, so it's generally faster.
Let's say for the loan disbursement side, if these days I'm not too familiar with, are they still delay on the disbursement side due to documentation ke apa ke?
I would say, from my knowledge, like I said, that one maybe a banker would be more in the know lah to explain. But from our knowledge, the bank scrutinization of the loan applications and loan approvals takes longer. Not so much the disbursement. Yes. Because they are now very careful to scrutinize. They do not want to simply, not to say they was doing it simply those days, but they're even more careful to approve loans because they do not want too many non-performing loans out there. So a lot of people's debt service ratio is off the charts. So that one they have to look out for.
So sekarang scammer pun ramai.
Betul.
Scammer pun ramai, so there's a lot of documentation.
So which means if they are you know, if they are delayed, then they have to pay for late payments.
Yes, as what I mentioned, generally a transaction they take 3 months to complete. But in any sale and purchase agreement, we are talking about sub-sale, there is an additional 1 month for the buyer to completely pay the full purchase price. But that additional 1 month carries an interest of 8% per annum.
8%
so,
per annum.
I always advise my clients, some of them, they have maybe monies in fixed deposit. But fixed deposit kan sekarang very low interest.
Betul.
3% or something like that, right? So, some of them, when they need to top up monies, they tell me, oh, Miss Wong, your my fixed deposit is not matured yet. I said, please take it out because if you delay, you're gonna pay 8%. Rugi lah.
Rugi betul.
Cheaper what?
Credit card 1.5%.
Dato', not everyone has your credit card which
Yes,
has huge limit lah.
Mungkin Dato' punya limit boleh lah sampai dalam rumah kita tak boleh.
Mungkin Dato' punya limit sangat tinggi lah. Not everyone, especially first time buyers,
tak lepas.
5,000 boleh lah.
5,000 boleh sampai lebih. Tak boleh decline.
But of course, the other question is, you know, sometimes either party lah, they want to save costs, and they just tell the agent, hey, okay, I don't want to be represented. I don't want to pay for legal fees. Okay, so let's say the buyer say, never mind lah, you are my agent ma. Okay, you introduce me your lawyer, then just I tumpang your lawyer lah. So on your side, what's your advice if this case were to happen? Let's say I am the buyer and you are the seller, but you don't want to be represented.
Okay. Under the law, when one party, which usually is the seller, dia tak mau representation, legal representation, is because, like what Dato' said, they want to save costs. Because when they are not represented in a sale and purchase transaction, the legal costs they pay to the lawyers, there is still some legal costs. Macam
still
kalau,
ada juga.
yes, macam kalau dia still owe money to the bank, kena discharge dia punya loan. So that lawyer who performs all this documentation will charge them for each and every process that they need to do for the seller. Tapi the bulk of the sale and purchase agreement, which has to follow the Legal Profession Act, dia punya schedule semua, dia tak boleh charge lah. So but it will be stated in the sale and purchase agreement that any seller is not has opted to not be represented.
So what's the risk?
So the risk, I mean,
Laju
the
Dato'
risk,
tanya, what's the risk? Laju dia nak tahu.
Dia nak protect dia punya viewers. Dato' very careful.
Betul.
So the risk is when nothing happens, nothing happens. When something happens,
Something happens.
yes.
Yeah.
So, not to sound cliche, itulah kalau vendor mesti tahu kalau dia tak ada representation, the buyer's lawyer has the legal duty to protect the buyer's interest. So kalau dia draft itu S&P memang side buyer punya. As much as they say it's quite fair,
Standard.
Adil, standard.
but it is, let's say something happens. Let's say buyer's loan late disbursement.
Okay.
The buyer's lawyer does not have the legal duty to be fair to the seller. You get what I'm trying to say?
okay,
So they will say, oh, no, it's just part of the process. But actually, the seller has lost out maybe charging late interest against the buyer because dia tak ada lawyer to protect dia punya interest. Actually, it's money lost there. Because they won't know. There's no one to look out for his interest, right? So, again, you pay for what you get. So if you don't pay for your legal representation, you don't even know that you're losing maybe money that you're
Much more money
that you're
than you expect.
entitled to.
Oh shoot.
Okay, so
Okay.
and then remember, siapa jual rumah, what is their intention? Dapat balik wang kan?
Betul, nak duit semula
Nak
lah.
duit
Siapa
semula.
nak jual rumah kan?
Yes, so bila dia nak jual rumah, dia nak dapat duit semula. So if they don't have their own legal representation, if somewhere along the way the buyer's lawyer just again, they don't have the legal duty to explain too much to the seller because they don't represent them. Dia tak tahu what's happening with the process. They don't know whether when their money is
Beli,
coming.
masuk, turun semua
Maybe
dan
the seller
sebagainya.
nak put another down payment for another rumah.
Betul. Kita
Sudah dapat rumah idaman tapi tak ada wang untuk
tak ada duit nak masuk sebab tak masuk dari sini
yes,
kan
so dia tak tahu bila tu, nobody advise. So again, I say, if you want to save the cost, you must accept that you macam tak ada orang give you information. But of
betul.
course, some buyers lawyers are very kind. They will tell you more and explain more. But not everyone is so patient out there because kan banyak kerja. They only act for who they are supposed to act
Yes,
for.
betul.
So that's the buyer beware too lah, and seller beware also on this side, you know.
I rasa Datuk Chua adalah seorang yang sangat beruntung sebab dia ada Miss Wong untuk apa nasihat dia in a way in this property thing.
Sometimes kita semua beruntung lah. I pun depend on Datuk Chua mana bagus untuk beli lah investment lah.
It's
So,
a
this
give and take,
building,
kan?
I think 17-18 years ago, Miss Wong is our lawyer lah untuk S&P.
Yeah, that's why kita sudah lama kenal.
So it's a good thing, you know, like this is like family really.
How time
Thank
flies.
you. Yes.
Okay, last before we end our episode today, Dato', do you have anything to ask? Last question from your side to our lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any last question?
So for me will be, you know, what would be the biggest challenge in conveyancing lawyer industry right now? Why I ask this question is because these days we use a lot of chat GPT, you know. Everything
I
also
understand.
chat GPT. I don't know lah. I mean, I'm just curious because just the other day, I had a coffee break with my friend, and the husband is actually selling battery, 24 hours delivery battery. Then she told me now, looking at things that is happening with the EV car movement, the evolution. So she's not confident enough that this industry will be as good now compared to 5 years later. So having said that, I'm not too sure on the what you see the changes that might happen in your industry.
I would not know the future. I wish I knew.
I wish I knew too.
But gauging on what's going to how it would look like in the future, maybe some commercial contracts you may be able to draft using chat GPT and things like that. But don't forget, the law says that a lawyer must witness the contract. So not many to be valid. So a lot of people are unaware. So contracts all by right a lot are witnessed by non-lawyers. If you have no problem, then it's okay. Maybe it's just a piece of paper to put down some terms.
Yeah,
but
that's
if you
it.
need to take it to court and it's not drafted by a lawyer, and you can't call the AI there to court to witness what they drafted.
When I check in JPT.
Yes. So having said that, also coming back to the property side of conveyancing practice, you can't chat GPT to ask real life situations. Because you can't say what's happening to my case now, when is the bank going to release, you can only chat GPT with general information. That's just to prepare you maybe a little bit of what is to come, but for real life situations of updated situations, we need humans at the end of the day. Kita still perlu. Yes. It's more organic. It's more real to tell you what exactly you are facing at the moment and what is your decision on that. And probably I would like to add one more for your viewers, which may be important for the government initiative for since the national budget was announced. Currently is for first-time home buyers. 500,000 and below, but must be first time for residential.
Must be first time. So I was eligible for that. Okay.
For first time residential properties, you can apply to get stamp duty exemption. So you tak boleh like ada joint name dengan lain orang before and all that stuff. But again, it is to be applied and approved. So they will check. But there is this government initiative out there. Okay.
So I think that is
free stamp
good
duty.
enough. Good enough for our youngsters, because right now we are eager to buy a house. So I think this is one of the things that it should be good. And thank you for our government to this kind of initiative really helping us.
Yes, it's a lot of savings.
It's a lot of savings.
If
we just know that stamp duty will go up. So this is a relief for the youngsters, for the first home buyers actually.
Who knows? After this, maybe all the parents will start using asking their kids, first time home buyers. Let's buy a house for you now.
So, true. Okay, so before we wrap up, I just want to ask you one advice.
Sure.
To Malaysian home buyer, what is your biggest advice to Malaysian home buyers?
I will wrap it up by saying, continue your journey, your dream. If nobody has dreams, it would be a sad world. Go ahead with your dreams, but get the proper advice. And take the necessary steps to minimize your risks, but never let your dreams be quashed.
I like that one. It's a big word for new home buyers like us.
On the matter of conveyancing, get a proper professional
lawyer can contact here.
I mean, it's not just about business. It's about sometimes the true lawyers, we really want to help people not have a bad experience. We want them to have a nice, good experience in purchasing their property.
Because in purchasing property, it's a big thing. It's a big money. So if you traumatize at the first place, it should be like the whole lifetime will be traumatized.
Yes. That's not what we want.
That's not what we want. I don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, alright. So that's a wrap for today. I would like to say thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, kan Datuk. So we
thank
would
you, Datuk, for having me.
She's around again, I guess, for other episodes.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, alright. So it's a wrap for today. We hope today you have gained some useful knowledge and also in the world of real estate and investment. Thank you so much for Miss Wong for coming in and tuning with us in
Thank
the
you
Property
again.
Insight
Thank you
Show.
to all that's viewing this video. Thank you.
Alright, so don't forget to subscribe, comment, and stay tuned with others. With another episode that coming up. Stay tuned for more expert advice and discussion in our upcoming episode. Jadi until next time, keep learning, keep investing, and here's to your success in property market with the Property Insight Show. My name is Eliza Isham, and with me is Datuk Kiki Chua. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Property Insight Show.